Evening all, and welcome back to episode 13 of season 7 of Factory Town, where today we're gonna change some things up. I would like to move, I'd like to do two things. One, I want to move the town somewhere else. I originally was going to put it on this island here, but because we now have all these fancy blocks and things like that, I'd much rather build a little town somewhere and see whether we can't do something fun and exciting with that. And I also kind of want to use rails in there somewhere as well. I want to try and get into a whole train system, but we need to find somewhere to actually move to, because we have an infinite map and we're using quite a smaller place of it. So let's do that. Seeing as it only costs 500 gold now to buy new tiles, I'm gonna buy some tiles over here and square off our map. We have got some iron and coal. That's dead useful. Nice decent iron supply over there, and that's pretty close to where our current thing or iron supply is. Let's go this way. Let's purchase. Oh, we found our air temple. Awesome. And we found a new trading post in the middle of a coal supply. That's what have you got? Wood for stone? Yeah, it's okay. Meat stew for sandwiches. No, the meat stew is a bit more to produce and cost more, and sandwiches are not really. A necklace for magic cloak. That's another one that's pretty much the same as that one. It's not really. In fact, it's lower. You're actually 15 coins for 7. So that trading post is a no-no. That's going to be a no-no. But I think that could be a good place for a town. We could flatten out this lake here and start putting houses and things over here, and I don't want to flatten out everything too much. I mean, there could be a nice pond in the centre, that sort of thing, but we need to bring a rail in, have a train stop, and then have our stores somewhere nearby. I have changes here, by the way. I did this off camera. I took the silos out, and they're now delivering directly to the stores again, because I didn't want to have a big buffer of things when we're moving stuff. So yeah, we could come over here. This looks pretty flat. We can also do some stuff behind it as well. It's good. The other thing as well is that we can have multiple markets, and they only cover a certain range. So if I put them down, really the town needs to be just as big as that circle, or slightly smaller than that circle. So yeah, it needs to kind of be, you know, like here, it needs to be on the island essentially to cover them all, which is fine. So yeah, I think we're gonna level out this. Let's level out this. Let's fill in this lake. Doopy 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 doop. There we go. And then what we'll do is we will grab a food market, and we'll do a little bit of planning here. So let's say I want to put it. Yeah, we'll put it there. And I want a tavern. A general store. There. And an apothecary. So basically, the highest point we can go is from this one here. So we can go up to about there, and that's a circle along there. And then this one comes in here at the edge of the lake. Even though the food market does go out further, we can't build over here in this band here. So we can't build. Yeah, see, we if we put a house up against the carrots here, it will get the food market, but we won't get the apothecary. So it's got to come inside there. The shame there's no way to actually show the range of these. Although I think there might be. I think if you do a road. So yeah, there we go. The road highlights. So you can see the range of the buildings based off of that, which is quite good. So I'm going to flatten down the land here. I wasn't going to do a great deal of terraforming, but when it comes to houses, you generally do want them to be kind of on a flat plane. because otherwise it's a bit difficult to deal with them. So we're just going to flatten this out here. Probably fill in these two lakes as well. We could always add water features later on, not an issue if we wanted to. Flatten out that as well. That's using up lots of our red coins to do this, but it's fine. So, oh. Oh, push the wrong button there. Come out over here, and you come out over there. So, okay. So that's the edge of the apothecary. Just trying to get the very outer reaches of each of the places. There. There. Oh, you'll go further? At the end of there. There we go. Okay, so that's the outer reaches of the apothecary. That's the circle for the apothecary. However, the food place is going to take away from that. So we need to now take off that many there and that many there. Okay, so now all of these highlight every one of the paths, which is fine. I don't think, however, I don't have enough brick. Wow. Okay. We can do it with normal footpaths. That's fine. They're all the same sort of principle. But there we go. That's there. So the apothecary can't actually reach down any of those roads. So the food market can reach a lot further, but the apothecary cannot. And that's not because they're different road types. It still works exactly the same way. If I was to build that out with the actual road, then do that, it's the same. It's exactly the same thing. So yeah, we are at the absolute limits of where we can go. So this is basically the town, and then you need to figure out what you're going to do from that point and how you're going to get goods down to those places in the centre. I've put them very close together like this because we're probably going to feed them directly, I want to say. Maybe not, actually. We might, I've not done any rail stuff yet. I'm not doing rail, so we're gonna base this off of a rail system where we're going to deliver everything from a rail station to a train station. I've also not really done anything with minecart, so this is going to be a little bit of a weird thing. But let me see whether I can get this all down. So a train station is a storage point for where locomotives drop off goods. Now, I might be getting my information slightly wrong here because I think trains can also drop off into places now. I'm not entirely sure on that. I need to check it because there were some changes to it as well, which I might have missed halfway through or misinterpreted how they work. But basically, with a rail, let's build a rail. Come on. You have a rail. So with a rail, you have a rail like so, and the idea is that early on you can build a minecart on a rail. In a minecart, you tell it to go down here, and it drives around in circles or drives along the train, doing whatever it's doing. And if you put barns or storages, why do we not have any stone? We've run out of stone. Oh. Okay. Now that was unexpected. That was very unexpected. You do that, I suppose. I'm going to. Oh, I can't move that because yeah, it's fine. Drop off some stone, please. We need a barn. We need another barn. This is a very unexpected. Would you be so kind as to fill up this barn, please? And this barn can output its goods into there. There we go. Okay, and then we can empty that as and when we need to, if we need to. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we have a barn with some goods in it, and then this one can be turned around again, so it's feeding. Oh yeah. Oh, so you've got so much. Yeah, yeah. You're actually storing some input for us for barns there. Right. Okay. So yeah. Let me show you how this works here. Sorry, getting distracted. We ran out of stone. Wasn't aware of that. So if we put down a silo on here, it will gain a loader, a minecart loader, which will take whatever's in the silo and empty it into minecarts. Now, minecarts, as I said, they travel around. They can only carry loose bulk, so they can only carry the goods that are listed there. Basically the same stuff that's on a chute. But they can carry it anyway. I want to say they can't carry it uphill. I think that's a thing that was changed. It's been quite a while since I've used these, so forgive me for being a little bit confused how they work. I need to relearn this myself. So let's have a look here. I don't believe they can go uphill. I think they get stuck. They can go up like one. Oh no, yeah, it stops. It stops. So, yeah. So they can go up one block by the looks of it. So if we were to do that, there you go. Go. Oh, you can go up one block and that's fine. So we can go up one block and come down again, but they can't go up any further than that. To do that, you need mechanical rails. Mechanical rails you don't open until very, very, very much later. I know we've unlocked them now, but we can't make them yet. They are. Yeah, they need mechanical rails, and mechanical rails require rotational power to work. I really should explain this better, but basically, the reason I'm not explaining it better is because I don't really use minecarts anymore because they've been made pretty much redundant. There's no real point to using them. They work the same as chutes, so you might as well just use a chute. The only advantage they have is they can go up one block. And they carry 20 goods in one go, which, yeah. But basically, instead of a minecart, you don't bother with them. You build a steam locomotive. Now, a steam locomotive does require some form of fuel. It requires water and it requires fuel in order to run. Fuel's the same sort of thing: fertilizer, wood, coal, magma, whichever way there. And you have to load it by using a different block. See, this is a minecart loader, so this will not load a train, not load a steam locomotive. It will only load a minecart. But if we remove that one and we go to our, I think it's Logistic Blocks. Yeah, there's a fuel loader, a train stop, and a minecart loader. They do exactly what they say. Minecart loader loads minecarts and deposit and retrieve goods from minecarts. So if a minecart went by, it would pick up from the goods from in our case here, it would pick up from the silo, pick up the goods, carry on going, and then wherever you have a minecart loader, so that way would load into the minecart loader, and if you turn it around, or set it to unload, I should say, bump load, that would load from there. Red basically means takes from building, put into cart. Green means take from cart, put into building. Simple as that. Now a fuel loader is the same sort of thing, but instead of taking and putting it into the train's inventory or the carriages, which I'll get to in a moment, it actually fills up the water or fuel side of it. So we have coal here, so we might want to take some coal, put it into a storage, and then when the train comes by, it can get some coal. Away you go. And if you want to get some water, well, the easiest way is a well. Just slap a well down on the track. Bomb. There we go. Get rid of the minecart loader and put a fuel loader instead. Oh, like so. And there we go. That will fill up with water. That'll fill up with coal if we had someone grabbing coal. And then the train will come by and pick up the fuel and water, and it can carry on. Now the train can have a few things to it. It's got an item filter, which means the whole train is filtered to it, with some exceptions, which again I will get to in a moment. And it has a signal tag. Signal tag, you can just type in something in here. So you can type in a signal tag. And the idea of the signal tag is to allow you to send trains off down rails without sending other trains off down rails. So let's just have this train called 1 with a capital O, and I think the capitalization does matter, so that's important. We'll have a track off here, come down here and do that. There we go. Now, if we put down a sorter or a pusher, I haven't gone over logistics blocks very well either yet, so I'm probably jumping ahead for a few people that don't know what's going on here, but there are several different types of logistic blocks, and the few used, the grabber is the obvious one, grabs from buildings. The splitter I've explained, and the merger we've explained here. The blocker, exactly what it says on the tin, it blocks things unless it's disabled, and then it will let stuff through, can be filtered. And the filter block will only let items through that pass the filter requirements. So the idea of that one would be that you could, if you had a chute that split off 2 ways and had, say, coal and stone on it, you could put a filter saying only stone can come this way, and then everything else will go the other way. So that's fine. But we have a sorter and a pusher. And don't worry, I will go over these better later on when we come to doing it. Probably when we get compute blocks as well, because they all sort of integrate to do things. But when it comes to rails, the sorter and the pusher are important things here. The pusher will redirect matching items off a belt or a chute when there's space, otherwise it'll let it pass. Essentially, the pusher will make sure that anything on a belt, a chute, a train on a track will always go the direction the pusher is facing. So if we put it here and we say, hey, go that way, and we give it the same signal tag as our train, which is 1, when the train comes by, what I should also do, let me grab a worker, get them filling this up with coal, so I can actually show this in goods. When the train comes along here, it will go up this track because the pusher is telling it to go up the track. Now, if the track is blocked, the pusher will then go, well, that way can't go, so you can carry on going. Off you go, carry on, and it will carry on straight. So if I get another train, actually, let me show you this in action. Let's tell the train to go. There you go. He's going to go that way. Very quick. Train's very quick. So there you go. He filled up on fuel and water because he picked up the coal from the silo and the water from the well using the fuel loaders. So he's got fuel. You can tell whether the train's fueled or not because he has steam coming out of him. Also, if they run out, they get a big icon above their head, so it's easy enough to understand. But he went up here because his signal tag matches the pusher signal tag. However, if I put this train here on the block, he'll come along and go, I can't get up there because it's blocked. So I'll just carry on. And that's fine. That's fine if you want that. So you know, if you have one train going up here and it's blocked, that's absolutely fine. The other logic block that's important here is the pusher. Sorry, not the pusher, that was the pusher. The sorter. The sorter is exactly the same as the pusher. It does exactly the same thing, but it will force items to turn down here, and if there's no space for them, it will just prevent them from moving. So if I tag this as a 1 here, important note as well, if you don't tag them or filter them or do anything like that at all, they will just push and sort everything to that go. So you need to make sure you do that. But now if we go around here, he's going to get to this point and he's going to stop because he must go up the track. He's not allowed to go straight on. He must go up the track. We get this one going here and he's going to be a lot slower because he doesn't have the fuel. And that is something that's important I need to explain as well. Right, so let's pause the game here for a moment. Yeah, we can move this over here. So trains use fuel and water to accelerate. Once they're up to full speed, they use very little of it, but to accelerate, they get up there. So I'm going to unpause the game. If you watch these 2 bars here, you'll see them drop quite rapidly. In fact, I want to put this train back here. You'll see them drop quite rapidly, and then once he gets up to speed, he'll be fine. He'll be absolutely fine. So, see, there we go. He's got up to speed, and now they're burning down very, very slowly. If another train is in front that doesn't have any fuel, the train will travel without fuel. They'll just drive very, very slowly. Very slowly. Now, he'll carry on going. And see, because this one is stop-starting, look at the fuel drop. Look how quickly that's using up the fuel, because he's got to go stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. So, it is very important that if you ever have a train that doesn't have any fuel on it, if it's blocking other trains before that, it will cause them to run out of fuel. See, he ran out of water there, so he needed more water. So. But you see, we've got one train now going around this short loop because he doesn't have the signal tag. So he's ignoring the sorter. And then we've got another one which has the signal tag going up here. Very, very simple way of doing things. Very easy to filter stuff out. You can only use one signal tag per sorter. You can't use two. So if you want a train, say, for instance, I mean, I don't know, say we're going up here to get this wood. Say this is what this track did. Track 1 goes to wood. In fact, let's rename this. Let's rename this to wood. This is just an example, by the way. This is not what I'm actually building here. I'm just trying to explain things. And if you've got any questions for this, do put it in the comments below, because there's a lot to them, and I will definitely miss things. And I'm very sorry I skipped over the whole minecart side of it, but realistically, minecarts have kind of been just overshadowed by trains, by locomotives, so they're not really of any use anymore. So I'm sure there is a use for them somewhere, but I just don't use them anymore. So they've basically been left in the dust. There we go. So get that out there. There we go. And also, I think I explained this before with rails. It's the same principle with a chute. If you drag a line that way, a train could come along here and turn left to go down, but it cannot turn right to go up there. So you can kind of make one-way tracks. It's quite easy to do. Yeah. So there we go. So now we have a wood filter. So he's going up here to pick up wood, and he'll come back down and join the main line and go around. And this one won't. This one just, I don't want wood. I'm not interested in that. So I'll go off and do whatever I'm doing the other way around. But let's say we wanted to get some stone as well. Well, we could build a second line. We could build another line up here for stone. Obviously, these would go off and do. Excuse me. These would go off and do whatever they're doing. You know, you'd go to the resources to pick them up. You'd have mines or whatever. Just an example. But you could do that. You could have another track go that way. You couldn't filter this with both wood and. So you can't do wood and then on the next line do stone. That won't work. That won't work because that makes the signal tag wood stone. Now his signal tag is just wood, so he'll ignore going up there and he'll carry on straight. So it would be nice if you could do that, if you could like comma them or something. I mean, I haven't actually tried comma for a long time. I don't know. I have to suggest that. Really should suggest that. Have multiple tags. But you can't. One tag per go. And also, if you do push enter and make another line underneath like that, you see the wood tag has a space underneath it here, and that doesn't match the train one. I believe this doesn't work. No, it doesn't work because it is literally looking for the exact tag. So if you get it wrong, and if you do like wood, like so, I don't think that will work either. Nope, because I've used a capital W here and a small w there. That all matters. All important. So, I mean, the easiest way to do this is, particularly if they're on like the same line that goes somewhere, is to just do something like that. Build another sorter. Make this the stone train. And then a train that has a stone tag will come along and join the same rail. And you just do that, and then just take them out. You could tag it as well, you wouldn't tag it as a north rail. Because then obviously the trains are with north and you need one to go wood, one to go here. The reason I would say use the signal tags for sorters and pushers on trains rather than using the item filter is because the item filter doesn't just read this. So say we tag this with wood. Fine, it's wood, that's okay. And then we tag the chain with wood. That would work. But if you put carriages on the back and one of them ends up with wood in it, even if the train might be a stone train, because it reads the whole train, it would go, aha, you have wood, so you come up here. So that doesn't really work. You kind of have to use the signal tag through it. So that's the best way to do it. Just tag it with the word of something and build your lines that way. And just, it's a little cumbersome, but that's kind of the best way to do it. Unfortunately, there's no other way to add multiple tags to something. But that's the best way to filter trains. Okay, so I've gone off onto how to filter trains and how to change things, but what the hell do trains do? Well, trains don't carry anything on their own. A locomotive doesn't carry a thing. It's got no inventory, it's got no nothing on there. But what you have when you click on one, you have on the bottom right corner down here, you have options for them. You can add a minecart to them. So let's send this train off up the way it's going. You can get some clearer view at it. There we go. Okie dokie. So you come along here and stop there. So this train can have multiple carriages added to it. You have a minecart. We've explained what a minecart does. A minecart just stores loose bulk items, if I can speak correctly, and can carry 20 of them. That's fine. And it travels a lot quicker. When it's attached to a train, it travels a lot quicker. So that's the reason why you might have a minecart on the back of a train. But the main staple of them is the 3 carts here, the 3 cars. You have a box car, you have a tent car, and you have a hopper car. And you can make these as long as you like, so long as your train line can support it. The more carriages you add doesn't affect the speed of the train or the fuel used to move them. They just goes. It's so you can build as many as you like or as far as you like or whatever you want. Now, the box car can carry 50 of any item. It can store any item whatsoever. Only one type, but it can carry 50 of it. So you can filter it to go, hey, well, you're a wood train, so pick up wood. There you go, boom. I filtered it to wood, so when it gets to wherever wood is, it will pick up 50 wood in its inventory. The box car can also carry packaged goods, which is something I haven't explained as well, but packages basically allow you to put 4 goods into one box. So it could potentially carry 50 boxes, which means that this one box car can carry 200 of any single item. The tent car is the same, but only carries fluids, so it can carry all those fluids there. Didn't know health potions and antidotes and things were considered fluids. That's interesting. So it can carry 100 of those in a tent car, which is very useful if you want a milk train going somewhere or a water train doing something, whatever. And the hopper car is the same as a minecart. It only carries loose bulk, but it does take 100 of them. So it's basically just an upgraded minecart. That is the thing that makes minecarts pretty much redundant. The only advantage of a minecart over it is that they can drive on their own without a locomotive. They can just go. So, yeah. But what you'll eventually really have is dedicated trains. So, I mean, this is a wood one. So, I could just store wood in here at 50 a go, which is fine. But realistically, if it's wood, it's loose bulk. So, I might as well just add the hopper car because that stores 100 of them. Same space, twice the goods. So yeah. So the wood train would have, say, a couple of hopper cars on it. There we go. And it would go, and it would have to pick up from an inventory of some type. Now, previously, there was only train stations. As I said, I think this has changed. So we're going to do a bit of a test here. I'm going to grab a barn. I'm going to put that there. You're a minecart loader. We're going to get rid of that, and we are going to grab a train stop, like so. Now, I don't know if this works. So train stops are an advanced system here. Before I explain that, I just want to test this actually works, because there's no point to me explaining it all and then showing it doesn't work, it doesn't do the job. So would you be so kind as to put some wood into it here, please? I just want one wood, that'll do. Okay, he does, right. So, previously I thought it was, you could only do it at train stations, whereas now you can do it at any inventory, so you can do it at a barn. The train will stop at barns, it will stop at, if you had if you had a forester there, for instance, it will stop at a forester, that's fine. I believe the difference is that the train station loads and unloads goods way quicker than a barn does. The only real way we can test that is to fill this barn up with way more goods than it currently has. Find out. But you see here, we've got wood inside our hopper car here. There it is. Boom, 1 wood inside there. Awesome tools. And it will load the train from the locomotive backwards. So it will load the first one, then the second one, then the third one. And you can have multiple goods. You can filter these if you want to. You could say, hey, you just be wood, you be stone, you be coal. And one train can carry 3 lots of goods. Dead easy. So, simple enough to do. If you don't filter them and you want to pick up multiple goods and you end up with 101 wood in here, it will fill up that to 100 and then this one to 1. So you won't pick up any stone or coal. So if you are doing multiple ones, make sure you filter your carts to exactly what you want them to be. Now, the other thing I want to point out is right now these have an item filter, which you can do. But if you do filter the train for whatever reason, if you go, well, this is a wood train, it's only going to have wood, I'll filter it to wood, so I know it's wood. And then I'll have the sorter set to wood as well, rather than using the signal tags. Fine. You'll notice that a new option appears in the trains. It says train filter. Now the reason behind this is because you could tag the train with something different. You remember there are lots of filters in here, lots and lots and lots of filters in here. So you could go, hey train, I am tagging you with the loose bulk. Let's go with loose bulk. Boom. And you're going to follow the loose bulk rail. And the loose bulk rail will have wood, stone, coal, iron ore, that sort of stuff on it. So you want to pick up each of those and bring them back. Now, if this is set to loose bulk, then the well, this is a bad example. Let me set it to, we'll go gear, just for an example here. So it's gear. You see here, the train filter has a gear icon on it, which means this overrides the item filter in here. So this will go, well, I want wood, but the train is set to gears, so I can only pick up gears. So you have to turn off the train filter here. If you turn that off, that means this item filter makes sense. So you can go wood, that's fine. If that is on, it will ignore this filter and it will use the train filter. So you could just literally, you could leave this on loose bulk like it is, set this to a wood train, boom, and then this will only pick up wood. Even if it goes past a stone stop, it won't pick up any stone, it will only pick up wood. So you can have one filter for the whole train, or filter them individually and turn them off. You could leave that like that. You could go, hey, I want wood, and then, well, I need one cart of something else, so I'll just turn it off for one cart, change that to be iron. You know, it allows you to swap and change and do whichever way you want to do things with it. It just gives you an option. But the main train filter basically just says, hey, you can do all of it. Even if you override these as well, say this was set to stone. This was a stone train. And I went, so we've got wood, stone and iron. So that one's wood, that one's stone, that one's iron. And we'll turn off all the filters for that. And this is a stone train. If it comes across a sorter that has a wood filter on it, it will push the train up here because there is one lot of wood on here. So even if I change this to being stone, this to being stone, in fact, you know what, I can leave this all as loose bulk. Because that's what you do. You set them all to loose bulk. You leave the train filter on. So I only want you to pick up stone. So he's going to come along and go, okay, I'll only pick up stone. That's fine. I get pushed north because I'm the wood train. I'll stop here, but I won't pick anything up. At least I don't think he'll pick it up. Nope, he didn't pick up any more wood because he's a stone train. So he's not allowed to pick up any more wood. So let's get rid of the signal tag. Get rid of this signal tag. And I know I'm going over the same stuff, but it's something that I wanted to, you know, get into my head as well. And that's push to wood. So that shouldn't push anywhere normal because that's a stone train, right? That's a stone train. So it shouldn't push any train. It should wait for the wood train to come along instead. But because the stone train got wood on it, even though it's set to wood, it had one wood in here. Even though this is set to stone, sorry, set to stone. This is set to stone. Because it had one wood, the sorter went, aha, you have wood. Go this way. So we can break things doing that way. Just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. That is possible to break things. So yeah. So that's the basics of how trains work. What we're going to do is basically have a locomotive that's going to pick up, or maybe we'll have multiple locomotives. I'm not quite sure yet. But it's going to pick up goods for. We'll have multiple locomotives. So we'll pick up some for the food market, some for the general store, some for the apothecary, and some for the tavern. And then we'll have them drop off their goods in the centre and then distribute them to the 4 buildings. A train station has 8 inventory slots, so it can store 8 different types of goods, which is pretty good. But it's not. I mean, it's twice as the barn, and it has 200 items it can store. It's not like a barn. You don't get to use the items that are stored in here, so you can't do that. But it is pretty good for long-range storage, which is kind of what the trains are for. They're designed for long-range storage. So I think the idea would be we'd move all these back by one. They'll still work up against the the roads because they have an influence there. We will lose a little bit of speed, a little bit of size here, but that's fine because yeah, because we could put this in the center like so, and we could have the train come down line here, drop off into the train storage, and then go back up again, and then we could have the train output into these 4 buildings that way. That would work. That would work. The only drawback to that is that I'm cutting the paths off for things, because I'd have to cut this path off as well, which means that the apothecary and the general store don't get access to the top there. And I think building a path around the outside, it is good enough. It is good enough to do that. But again, we'd have to cut that path off because we'd have a rail come down here. The other option we've got is to run the rails above ground. Everything's above ground, but what I mean is to run the rails high in the sky. That makes sense. What if we did something like, we'll go too high and then we'll put down the something like that. The train tracks, the paths can go underneath because they can do that, and that means everything connects. Yep. The station can go on top like so, and then all we do is run our rails above, so we have like a monorail. That's an option. I'm not sure which option I like. I mean, another thing as well you could easily do is actually have the train station just over here, and then have carts pick up things and distribute them around. That is quite easy enough done. You know, you could have the train station on the edge of town. It doesn't have to be in the centre of town. Have it on the edge of town, and then have carts or caravans taking items from here to wherever it needs to be distributed to. So that's an idea. Yeah, I'm really not sure which way we're going to go with that at the moment. I'm not sure how I want to approach this. If we are going to have carts come in there, I definitely needs to be spread out some more, so we're going to lose a little bit more area we can work on. We basically lose 2 off of each corner. So that shrinks down our area there. We could have the train station out here, quite happily. Have a 3-way road coming down to there, and have the trains drop off everything in the train station, and then have carts pick up things and go. The drawback to that is that if you have more than 3 carts, it's possible they can block the entrance to the train and everything goes terribly wrong. So yeah, I mean, the other choice we have as well is that we could, because you can drop off goods directly into these, we don't need to use the train stations at all. Although it is good because the train station is a buffer. The train station can store 200 items. If you drop directly into here, you can only store 20 of an item. So having a hopper car come by with 100 goods to drop off, say, 100 apples, it would only ever drop off 20 of them, and that'd be it. Might as well use a minecart for that. That's something else we could use as well. We could use minecarts, picking up from the train station and coming along and dropping off into these and coming back again. That's an option. There are so many options. Let me know which one you think we should go for, because there are so many options for stuff. I kind of like that minecart idea because I don't use minecarts anymore. They've really been cut back. Yeah, let me know what idea you think of. This has been kind of a theory episode. Sorry about that. We've not really actually done anything. But I'm trying to go through and explain everything as I go of what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that's helping some people. I've got some feedback from lots of comments, and thank you for commenting on everything. Please carry on with that. I love hearing what you're saying, and it's nice to know that this tutorial-y style thing of me doing this is working. Some people are learning things and understanding things, and it's great. And I'm doing it for me as well. I'm going over them because sometimes I forget everything, and I'll explain something, and somebody will point out in the comments that, you know, oh, you missed this. I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that. I forgot about that. I completely forgot that existed. Someone's going to point out that minecarts are really useful, and I'm just going to be like, where? But I'm sure they are. I'm sure they have their uses somewhere. but we'll figure it out. And mechanical rails I need to explain because that actually requires steam power for stuff, which we've got and we haven't really used. And that's complicated. We'll probably get to that at some point. But yeah, so let me know what you think we should do for the town. I'm kind of edging on the whole leave the train station on the edge and then run some minecarts. Just go round and round in circles on minecarts. Maybe put them just above the ground so they're not touching the, they're not using up the, they're not breaking the path link, because everything must be linked by paths. We can figure that out, but yeah. Okay then, right, so we'll leave it here. We'll come back next time and carry on from there. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I hope to see you again in the next one. And until then, as always, have fun.